Welcome and thank you for joining us for this website training on how to access and complete the Quality Improvement Incentive 1 or QI1 application. This training will cover how a provider can find information regarding the QI1 program, how to complete the application, and the rules and state plan attachment governing the QI1 program. To access the website containing the instructions and applications for QI1, please see the training video titled BCRP Resources. Additional videos are also available which provide specific trainings on QI2 and 3. After accessing the Long-Term Care Resources page, click on the tab QI Incentive Programs. Clicking on the NH Introduction Letter will take you to a general letter discussing each QII program. Keep in mind, the Utah State Plan, Attachment 4.19-D, is the definitive source of information for the QII program. Next, click the QI1 form link to access the actual application. Simply print the application, fill in the information, and attach all required documentation. Applications missing any information, containing incorrect information, or having unmarked or incorrectly marked boxes may be rejected. Ensure the Medicaid ID is current and that the application is signed and dated. Medicare ID or NPI numbers will not be accepted. See R414-504-4 for more specific information. This incentive requires information for 3 sections. Quality Improvement Plan, weighted at 50% of the reimbursement. Culture Change, weighted at 25% of the reimbursement. And Employee Satisfaction Program, weighted at 25% of the reimbursement. A provider may receive partial payout even if they did not qualify in all areas. A provider will not qualify for any QI monies if receiving an immediate jeopardy violation or receives a substandard quality of care violation in more than one survey during the application period. If a provider receives one substandard quality of care violation, the provider is only eligible for 50% of the possible payout. The monies are distributed based on the proportionate share of the total Medicaid patient days in qualifying facilities. The ideal application will have the application followed by title pages for each section. A meaningful quality improvement plan that includes the involvement of residents and family. A demonstrated process of assessing and measuring the quality improvement plan. 4 quarterly customer satisfaction surveys conducted by an independent third party with the final quarter ending on March 31st of the incentive period, along with an action plan that addresses survey items rated below average for the year. A plan for a culture change along with an example of how the facility has implemented culture change, and an employee satisfaction program. Pay particular attention to the italicized descriptions of what each area should address in the application. For example, document not only that a quality improvement program has been developed, but also the process by which it is assessed and measured. Also document how you have involved family and residents in the process. Failure to detail any of the requirements may exclude you from receiving the entirety of the quality improvement portion of the application. Although detailed documentation is required to verify all components of QII1, the application should not exceed 12 pages. An example of a good application will look like the following. All information is included and legible. Each section is clearly titled and separated. In this example, the provider details the quality improvement plan and includes staff, residents, and family members' involvement in that plan. Documentation provided specifically identifies areas of concern, team members who address and are aware of the concerns, measurements quantifying the concerns, tracking of those concerns, and how the provider will address and resolve the concerns. Failure to provide supporting documentation that demonstrates how the facility assessed, measured, and remedied concerns is not sufficient to approve. Forms, photos, testimonials, and proof of any tools used to address concerns need to be included. Next, the example demonstrates the 4 quarterly surveys required, including the third-party entity conducting the surveys, who is surveyed, when the surveys are completed, and how the facility uses the surveys to improve operations and customer satisfaction. The provider then supplies the quarterly survey results and clearly identifies which area or areas' performance was below industry average. After identifying the below average area, the provider documents specific actions to address this area, including the concern, a timeline to address the concern, responsible staff members to address the concern, and progress to a resolution. Next, the example provides documentation to address culture change and specific programs the provider is completing to promote culture change. The provider addresses specific goals to implement culture change and provides an example of how culture change has impacted the facility as required in the application. Finally, the example provides documentation of an employee satisfaction program. In this example, the provider documents data from surveys given to employees. The example demonstrates positive and negative feedback from the surveys and what management will do to increase employee satisfaction. The provider also includes goals and positive outcomes that have occurred due to implementing an employee satisfaction program. Failure to provide examples of how employees have benefited from the program may result in reduced payout. Once you have completed the application, email the application to the address found at the bottom of the QI1 page or mail it to the Utah Department of Health using the provided addresses. Remember, all applications are due by May 31st but can be completed any time following the 3rd quarter of the state fiscal year or between April 1st and May 31st. We urge you to submit your facility's applications as early as possible in order to potentially receive feedback prior to the deadline. Feedback is not guaranteed. However, it is more likely to occur for facilities that submit in early April. The state plan and rule governing the QI1 program can be found on the main BCRP webpage by clicking on Additional Resources. If you have additional questions about the QI1 program or completing an application, please visit the website displayed on your screen. Email the QI1 team or call the BCRP main line. Thank you.